today, Mashers, we're going to be talking about the top 10 buffs and nerfs in Smash Ultimate, made by fellow YouTuber MockRock Talk. Seems to make a lot of educational content. You know, I've never clicked on his channel, but that's what I'm guessing he does. But clearly he makes well-made content, so go ahead and subscribe to him. And we're going to watch this. A lot of buffs, a lot of nerfs for a lot of relevant characters and some irrelevant characters. Remember the Wario jab buff? He really needed that. That was during a time where Wario was just shit. It was like right after his nerf and nobody was doing really that well with him. So yeah, we're going to watch it. In his glorious color. They're both in the Cash Money alt. With it.
To this day, the Super Smash Bros. Series tends to have some of the most conservative balance patches of any platform fighter. Characters don't tend to change too.
That is very well said. Very conservative balance patches.
Of any platform fighter. Characters don't tend to change too radically, and those changes are essentially always just number tweaks. You're not going to see like a brand new move patched onto a character like some platform fighters do. But Ultimate in particular did have some pretty dramatic ones over its patch cycle, so that's what we're looking at today. I'm going through 10 instances where, for better or worse, a character's prospects changed dramatically overnight because of a single patch.
A list of character buffs and nerfs that came from a single patch and Ultimate's lifespan, determined on how impactful the changes were for the character, not ordered within the top 10. I thought this would be like, up here would be buffs and this would be nerfs.
No.
My hard read on nerfs, this is going to be Pichu, not a very hard read. Zero Suit, who else got nerfed? Palu had some nerfs. I always forget who gets nerfed. Buffs will be Ken. Ken is like number one. The Joker, I don't feel like the nerfs were like that bad. I don't know. Oh, Min Min has to be talked about for nerfs too. That's 4 characters for, I'll give you one more character for nerfs. Didn't K. Rool get nerfed at the very beginning? I feel like people don't remember that. One more for nerfed. I'll say Wario. Why not? We were talking about him earlier. That's 5 for nerfed, I think. And then for buffed, we have Ken. It's a no-brainer. Jigglypuff did get some really good buffs, actually. What else you guys got? Lucina, I don't think she got changed at all. Fox got buffed. That was a little fucking insane. Byleth, Diddy Kong. Ike, he was like, it was like buffs and nerfs. It was more of like a change for Ike, a tune-up. We got 2 more, Corrin and Diddy Kong. Did Corrin get buffed? I hope she didn't get buffed. I don't like that. Falcon is up B. Lucas got a functional pivot grab. Dude, it's still kind of shit, not gonna lie. Pretty sure Corrin got buffs. All right. Oh, Sheik. Did I say Sheik? I don't know if I said Sheik, but Sheik for buffs too. Let's go.
Kicking things off with one a lot of people were very happy to see, Jigglypuff.
I didn't say this one. You guys were right.
If you followed Smash 4, and maybe even if not.
I forgot about this. There was a website where it was just days since last buff change.
In particular, just completely opened the floodgates. To start, she used to have by far the laggiest air dodge in the entire game, not even close, which is kind of a big deal for a character who's entirely air-centric. This was fixed up. She still has a slow air dodge overall. Directional air dodges in Ultimate are tied to how long it takes your character to fall a certain distance, so in other words, the floatier you are, the laggier your air dodge is, but it used to be dramatically worse. Very, very nice quality of life change. A smaller one, they made rollout charge up faster, which is like, okay, sure, whatever. Now we get to the juicy stuff.
If you want to have clean gameplay like Mars, all you gotta do is simply click subscribe to the channel today.
The tamest of these was Tapan, which now does 2 more frames of hit stun and gains a shield stun multiplier of 1.5 times. So in other words, it's way safer on shield.
Why are we doing Zero Suit, man? What you got against Zero Suit? It's like he knew I was going to react to this.
So the forward throw got a brand new angle. This is now one of the lowest launch.
Yeah, I remember the first time Cola lost to like base mage. It was really funny. He did like bad at that tournament, so he was already pretty tilted. He was just like, dude, fucking Jigglypuff just beats Roy. It's unwinnable matchup. You get fork thrown and it's over.
Launching forward throws in the game, which is such an inspired change. I love that. They didn't take the obvious approach of just giving her throw combos or something like that, which you can't really do with the rest of the picture. So what they said as an alternative is, hey, Jigglypuff is supposed to be this edge guarding beast. Let's make it easier for her to set up edge guards. It's arguably an even more fundamental change though, and this is the final one, was to down air, which now auto cancels in a short hop, and that changed everything. Because this means that Jigglypuff now gets consistent combos off down air, including looping into itself. These are the most consistent.
What an optimal combo. I'm gonna
everything, because this means that Jigglypuff now gets
looks like an FD exclusive combo
consistent combos off down air, including
strong forward air and then jab.
thing into
weak forward air
itself. Oh, and by the way, even outside of the auto cancel stuff, it just has less landing leg overall now, which means that she can combo it into rest. So,
dude, dare rest is so wrong. Why is that a thing?
Ike, patch 8. Earlier,
what are these buffs? Because he lost Nair up air at later percents.
On an Ultimate's life, Ike was arguably the most one-button character in the entire game. Everything he had revolved around neutral air. You wanted damage, neutral air. You wanted to kill, neutral air. You wanted to play neutral, neutral air. Patch 8 didn't entirely change that. Neutral air is still far and away his best move, but they did change his overall playstyle to be considerably more diverse and healthy. First off, they nerfed neutral air. Yeah, that had to happen. All they had to do was bump its knockback scaling up a bit, which meant that it was still a safe move to use in neutral, and he still got good combos off it, but if you wanted to go for kill confirms, those ended a lot earlier than they used to. And stuff like ladder combos.
I'd call that a nerf. Because I know he's going to talk about up B killing earlier and jab. Those are not great buffs in place of Nair getting neutered.
This was a trade-off, not a nerf, because while the band that he had for kill confirms was much narrower than it used to be, it did start earlier as well because his opponent was popped higher into the air. And if you eventually had to just kill with neutral air, it would do that earlier as well. I also like that they left the neutral air's knockback scaling going up was a bummer, but dash attacks went up too. A lot. And this is not one of the most absurd kill moves. Bummer, but dash attacks went up
to pretty considerable.
A lot. And this is now one of the most absurd kill moves in the game. It feels DLC. It feels fake. It feels buffed. I don't know what to call it.
Deserved.
Like, it's so disproportionately powerful. It seems like cheating. And then there was Ether. It got a humble change. The first hit no longer clanks with other moves. That's a nice boost. And then it got a very, very not humble change, a new angle, and way more knock.
Damn, look at that knockback difference where the Dr. Marios are. Wow. That's pretty considerable.
Yeah, the armor was nice, and you did see Ike players using it. It lasts for a decently long time, but
hey, that's me. It's like pretty, I don't know, it's hard to like, if you're playing against an Ike, you should know that getting up B is like the move. It's like avoiding Incineroar side B, but even easier. So I don't really like this buff.
Interesting character rework that absolutely understands what they're doing, and I actually wish we saw more stuff like it. In fact, there's only one other really clear-cut instance I can think of, and that's Pokemon Trainer, patch 4. Early Pokemon...
This character got hella nerfed. He better not be saying buffed.
Trainer was increasingly becoming typecast as Ivysaur and friends. Yeah, Squirtle still got some use, but why would you ever pick Charizard when he's supposed to be the finisher, and Ivysaur does that job better in addition to basically everything else? So they had their finger on the pulse again. Patch 4 comes out, and what do we see? Squirtle stays the same, Ivysaur goes down, Charizard comes up. Sweet spot was way bigger, and I do mean...
It doesn't even matter if the sweet spot is that much smaller, just because it's still, like, ridiculous. Like...
To this day, the move is still huge and relatively fast and easy to line up and kills people all the time, but they at least have a fighting chance against it to some degree, whereas before it was pretty much just straight up lights out. As far as utility goes, neutral air was buffed to last 1 frame longer, not a big deal, but also have 3 less frames of end lag, and that actually does matter.
Dude, it's crazy that these nerfs actually made Pokemon Trainer players stop playing PT, because like it just made the character more balanced. Like he said, Charizard's supposed to be the guy who kills. Bring out the Zard, man, play it heavy. I would love, dude, if I could play Zero Suit up until my opponent was at 100, like 30, 40%, and then I could switch to Charizard or something, or like Ganondorf, I would. And Pokemon Trainer players will just complain. They're like, oh, Ivysaur's so bad, worst Pokemon. Why would you ever play Ivysaur? Stop it!
So, we brushed up against some nerfs, but now we're diving in deep.
Olimar nerfs. Yeah! Dude, I was beating Dabuzz pre-patch Olimar. Oh. Just nerfs.
Olimar, patch 3.1. This patch was so funny. They increased the size of Olimar's hurtbox, but didn't give him a larger shield. And that meant stuff like this happened all the time. To be fair, this was an oversight and they fixed it later, but it clearly shouldn't have happened in the first place. And they fixed it by making his shield bigger, not by bringing his hurtbox back down. So he's still a bit easier to hit, which I would say is a welcome change in the end. It didn't suck as much as up smash, also getting 3 more frames of lag though. This isn't on you.
Dude, the up smash 3 frames of lag was so important because it was so common for Olimar players to just up smash your shield with whichever Pikmin, mash spot dodge, and then just they have a field day. They can up smash again, they can forward smash, they can grab kill you. Awful.
And just to kick him while he was down, his winged Pikmin were also changed to take twice as long to recover after a flight. Okay, it wasn't just to kick him while he was down. In all honesty, pre-patch Olimar was one of the best, if not maybe even the best character in the entire game. And quite frankly...
Okay, he wasn't that good. He was really good. I think he was like top 5, but...
He was so toxic and not fun to fight against at all, and the game would not be in a healthy state if he was allowed to stay that way. So
Does he think the game is in a healthy state right now, Mr. MockRock?
So
I don't think so.
Okay, back to something a little more inspirational. Incineroar.
This guy got buffed? Oh, he's up B. And probably some other things.
Patch 8. These patch notes honestly read like a fever dream. If you ask most people what Incineroar's best move is, they're probably going to say Revenge or Alolan Whip. I know because that debate's broken out in my comments many times. And both those moves were buffed here. And then Alolan Whip is crazier, if anything. It got faster. It went from frame 18 to frame 16. And 2 frames is actually a really big deal considering the scrambles and pseudo combos and tech changes.
I didn't know it was that fast.
Its knockback was boosted. It is one of the best sheer kill moves in the entire game now. Utility buffs and power buffs on what were already arguably his 2 most important powerful tools. What more could you possibly ask for? As it turns out, actually quite a bit. We're not done. All of his grabs were sped up by a frame. Another move type where each individual frame actually mattars quite a bit, especially because you can do them out of shield. Why not?
Man.
It's absurd how much Incineroar got here. And the thing is, it's not even the only patch of his that was on the short list. Base version Incineroar was kind of sad. He actually ended up being one of the more successful heavyweight designs at the end of the day.
It is kind of cool that you see Incineroar a little bit more, but like, wow, why is that happening? Why is this kill spark a thing? First of all. Second of all, Skyjay hasn't really been doing too hot recently. I feel like this character still needs good brackets. I feel like his bad matchups are still really bad.
Let's talk about Mewtwo. They straight up...
See, this one I actually want to hear about because you guys taught me about this one just now.
They straight up patched a combo throw into Mewtwo's kit. That doesn't happen often.
Sweet.
Down throw used to be one of those aggravating moves that looked like it should combo, but in practice it was actually...
Oh, an aggravating down throw that looks like it should combo? Huh. That sounds familiar.
Another huge fundamental change they made was to Shadow Ball. It was already a fantastic character-defining projectile, but they shaved 4 frames of ending lag off it, and now it's just
that's
what
annoying.
Mewtwo does. It also travels faster now, which is not entirely a good thing. That would hinder its combo potential, but...
I would rather have this kind of projectile as Mewtwo. I wouldn't want my Shadow Ball to, like, combo. Like, obviously it would be nice if it combo, but I think having it faster is more valuable. I feel like comboing neutral B, that's like a Samus thing. Samus is kind of slow, so it's kind of insane that Samus has that. But like being able to be like, oh, I'm gonna throw a Shadow Ball, and then they shield or jump, and then you walk up under them and like up air, up tilt, or whatever, you know, kill move you want to do or something. I think a fast, small Shadow Ball is insanely good.
It's the combo throw that really puts this over the top for me. That's just such a rare gift to be given in the Smash series, but altogether, it really did put Mewtwo in a different category. He's still not a particularly popular character.
This guy's smart, he gets
didn't really fix up. Okay, then after that, we have Rosalina in Patch 2, or honestly, more like Luma in Patch 2. This one's really notable for just the sheer amount of stuff that they did. Luma's physics were initially very different between Smash 4 and all.
That's crazy that Rosa got buffed in Patch 2, but didn't see any relevance until the very last patch with the Buzz.
In Patch 2, they switched them back. That was the big fundamental change, but seriously, this list is so long to run through it. Luma's up tilt is stronger now, it moves further during down tilt, dash attack connects more consistently, neutral air is a frame faster for Rosalina and Luma. Rosalina's also connects more reliably. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot there, and it's not even the only time they would end up doing a sweeping overhaul of Luma. It seems like it took them quite a bit to figure out exactly what they wanted to do with Rosalina. Nowadays, I think she's actually a pretty cool character. A very different kind of project they took on in this patch. You knew this was coming. Pichu in patch 3.1. Oh my god, they took him out behind the barn.
Such a deserved nerf. Pichu was heinous. Show the clips. Rock Jock Mock, I forget his name.
Pichu in the very early days of Smash Ultimate was considered a candidate for the best character in the game. Now, that opinion was already falling off. As people got better at Ultimate, it seemed like Pichu's strengths had just been easier and therefore quicker to...
Did that character just full dash under a projectile? Okay.
Patch 3.1 came out, and that was the end of Pichu as we knew it. Similar to Olimar in the same patch, Pichu was given a larger hurt box, which somehow ended up making it bigger than Pikachu. Thankfully, unlike with...
Pichu has a bigger hurt box than Pikachu? That's bad game design.
Was a major concern though was forward tilt, which used to be Pichu's go-to kill move and one of the most feared kill moves in the game, and afterwards was acceptable. Pichu's electrical attacks also famously damage it, which back in Melee was supposed to be kind of the joke character factor. Hey, what if Pikachu stuck kind of deal. But in Ultimate, where Pichu was an actual threat, they were an important balancing factor, a big part of solidifying the glass part of the glass cannon playstyle. And patch 3.1 increased that
big D playing
solidifying the glass part of the glass cannon playstyle. And patch 3.1 increased...
So what he's saying right now is that one of the big nerfs for Pichu was that he did more damage to himself. Considering you're like the lightest character in the game, give or take, that's pretty huge.
It turned out to be a really substantial nerf, so substantial that later on the devs went in and actually reverted some of those changes, at least partially. So that was definitely the low point for Pichu, the end of Act 2, getting close to the end here, and I promise this is not bias. I'm going with Pit from patch 8. Leading up to Ultimate's launch, Pit actually had a bit of hype behind him. A lot of his tools were still just a bit too slow and laggy, didn't combo quite well enough, didn't have quite enough kill power.
I didn't even know Pit got buffed. I always felt like he was probably the same character. I thought like down B got changed and that was it. I feel like I don't remember literally any other changes for Pit.
And over the course of a few patches, but particularly patch 8, they did fix this. At least some of it. Yes, I am pulling that card out. The Pits have one of the best down smashes in the game. They lean on it a lot. And in patch 8, it got a much lower knockback angle. So it kills way more effectively. And also, even if it doesn't, it puts your opponent into a way worse offstage position. Up smash was also given way more knockback, so it's a much more effective kill move. Down tilt's the opposite of everything I've said so far. It was given a higher angle and less knockback scaling. And it's so much better at comboing now that it's actually ridiculous. Down tilt used to be a really frustrating move. It always seemed like it should have been able to do what it now actually can do. Between down tilt's newfound combo potential and up air's increased speed and lethality, down tilt to up air is just a bona fide kill confirm now.
Also, low-key, I really like playing Pit.
And outside of that, up air also got its ending lag reduced a lot by 9 frames, so it's...
So I thought Zach Gray was just like playing Pit because he was fucking with it. I didn't know this character got buffed. My Pit is insane. I highly doubt it.
And then the final change, and this still might have been the biggest one, was to Guardian Orbitars. Their ending lag and the amount of time they needed to be held out for were both reduced by 5 frames.
That is such an obnoxious change. I just want to say that. Like, Orbitars being like a almost insanely broken shield, you can kind of like clip the toes a little bit.
Their ending lag and the amount of time they...
Like when they're dangling in the air, you can kind of see it, kind of hit it. Why would you doubt that? Why would I doubt your Pit is insane? Because Pit is way too cool of a character for you to be playing, tweak. That's why you played fucking Diddy Kong and Roy and PT and you. That's why.
Not impossible, but I've heard many people say, hey, the Pits are perfectly fair, balanced, honest characters, except for the Guardian Orbitars. I don't necessarily 100% agree with that, but yeah, the change really...
He's not hard. I know he's not hard. I think, okay, low-key, I think Pit is kind of annoying. I don't think he's hard. I think he's pretty fucking brain dead. Nair, down tilt, grab for a mix-up because you have to respect so much shit. I like shooting the arrows. It makes me happy.
Okay, then a couple honorable mentions before our final picks. Ryu and Ken in patch 3.1, you can sort of think of like the 11th.
Oh yeah, wait a second. What happened to Ken? This dude didn't mention Ken. Ken actually became a playable character after this patch.
Entry on this list. The gist of it is that this is when they started being really consciously separated from each other. Ken got a bunch of changes that pushed him into more...
Watching this is pissing me off. These guys think they're actually playing a fighting game right now.
This is when they started being really consciously separated from each other. Ken got a bunch of changes that... Similar deal with Corrin. Pre-patch Corrin really did suck, and all those moves that are considered meta threats nowadays...
I don't even know the Corrin
up air, pin, back air, forward smash, neutral air, those were all buffed.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of buffs, dude.
Wario in patch 11 had his up tilt sour spot duration brought down a bit, and then his waft was given a few extra frames to start up and lag, and his player base started screaming like it was the apocalypse, and I thought it was silly back then, and that's absolutely been validated. Wario's
little Wario nerfs made you not want to play Wario. Ooh, my up tilt. Ooh, the worst thing ever. Ooh, my waft.
Daisy in patch 3 had her vegetables changed to be the same as Peach. They used to be different. They used to be how Peaches worked in Smash 4. That's not strictly speaking a buff or a nerf. I just wanted to bring it up because it pisses me off to this day. Diddy had his pyramid scheme.
It's already done.
Patch 8, a nickname for...
I'm not. I'm still starting shit.
One of the very few true infinites Ultimate had to deal with. The devs clearly didn't intend for the game to have infinites, and that was lopped off real fast. In patch 2, they tried to kill Luigi's Zero to death by altering Danner so it couldn't spike grounded opponents anymore, and I seriously remember within like 15 minutes of the patch notes.
What I don't understand, right? So yeah, like he just showed, they got rid of like the Diddy Kong Infinite, and like he said, they probably don't want infinites in the game, but infinites at the end of the day are just zero to deaths, just like looping the same combo. So why the fuck does Luigi still have his bullshit? Kazuya, Rob, etc. All those whack ass characters, like they still basically have infinites. You know what I mean? The end result is still the same. It's kind of lame.
In patch 11, Captain Falcon and Ganondorf both had the tech check removed. A very long-standing problem they had to deal with, where if they grabbed an opponent during their recovery, the opponent could just tech off the stage and punish them for it. Zero Suit Samus in patch 11. They gave her neutral air more lag, and they increased the startup of her up B. They weren't by much. 2 more frames of ending lag, 2 more frames of startup, but what Zero Suit Samus really wanted to do was fish for neutral air confirms and then up B you out of shield. A frame 6 out of shield option is still very good, but it is now getting into that territory where a lot of the game's best aerials, if spaced properly, can no longer be punished by it. But let's end the video on a high note, or at least more of a bittersweet note. Captain Falcon in Patch 8. I think Captain Falcon is not a particularly good character in Ultimate, and he's got a lot of major flaws, but man, you can't fault the devs for trying. They really
I'm glad I said Falcon. I was right about some of these. We'll talk about
Falcon was given substantial buffs in multiple different patches, but Patch 8 in particular really stands out because it altered his playstyle. Raptor Boost was altered pretty substantially. In Smash Ultimate, they decided to re-engineer it into a combo move, and it was okay at its job, but it fell off pretty fast. Patch 8 totally changed.
I'm like, still to this day, low-key cry about how like kind of whack Falcon is. Like, he was really cool in 4. People will probably still say that like it's the same, just hard to deal with bullshit, but like, dude, he had like footstool combos. That's it. That's all he had. No, his up air was just mad fun. He was just really fun to play. Raptor Boost was the you know what I mean? Like, oh, you thought you won? You were at 70 and you got fully rage Raptor Boost. It was hilarious. It was funny, and I thought it was cool.
Moving on to up smash, this is one of the most notorious stock robber smash attacks in the game. Yeah, Patch 8 is what did that. It got way more knockback than it used to have. Down tilt also became a much better kill move with more knockback. Dash attack was given less ending lag, so while it's still not a brilliant combo move, it does combo better than it used to, and it's also safer on shield. And then the good old Falcon kick, which Ultimate's turned into a bit more of a regular part of his kit. It was made faster by 2 frames, and again, this is one of those scramble moves where that's quite a big deal. And
I feel like, why do they make obnoxious moves better? Like, why did they buff Samus? Why did they let Falcon Kick do that?
Captain Falcon's a tricky character to balance, and I would say that if the patch cycle had gone on for longer, he still probably would have needed more, which I can actually make a case for plenty of characters on this list. But overall, Ultimate's patches were definitely a big step in the right direction, especially because we actually got at least some semblance of patch notes this time. It's insane that Smash 4 didn't do that.
I want to look at this full list, because, like, I'd replace some of these characters. I'd still replace Ike with, like, Ken. The Olimar one was a huge nerf. I didn't know Rose's buffs were that substantial. I'll have to take his word for it. I'm not really sure. Yeah, 8.0 was just the MVP patch for so many characters. Like, half of this list is just 8.0 gamers. Hell yeah. Diddy definitely needs to be here for buffs. Yeah, I don't know who I would replace him with. I'd probably have him take PT's spot, because I think PT's nerfs are, like, less relevant than Diddy's buffs. Or maybe I'd move Pitter over. I don't know. He's had a lot of stuff for Pitt I wasn't aware of. I would definitely move Ike out of there, though. I feel like Ike wasn't, like, sure, he got a lot of, like, positive changes, but they also just, like, neutered Nair. So, it's more of, like, a playstyle change, like a change than, like, a direct nerf or buff. In a vacuum is how he's looking at it, which is the only reason I would change it. PT and Ike were both closer to neutral changes. True. These are the only 2 you can really, like, argue should be moved. Agree with Corrin. Corrin, yeah, what he said could be on the list too. Because Corrin, like, again, what he made it sound like is he got the same treatment as like Rosa and Pit, where there were just like a handful of minor changes that made the character more playable, like just like a more solid, well-rounded, functional character. But like Corrin, whoo, that play style way better than these 2 fuckers. Cloud buffs are actually so toxic. That is so true. What were the cloud buffs? There was dash attack got stronger, up smash got faster, finishing touch got faster by like 1 frame. Up B snaps ledge sooner, which made Cloud's like glaring weakness like very blurry. We'll say it was one of those things that just changed almost everything. Like, edge guarding Cloud is just now super hard. Limit charges faster. Oh wait, no, wait, you said they buffed limit charge. I don't know. Let me look at a character select screen, man. It charges faster. Why? Dude, that move shouldn't even be in the game. He can't even charge limit in the game. And then they have like fucking Banjos just like to the just through and through like a potential recreation for his game. And then they're just like, yeah, he can just fucking charge limit. We don't know what to put for his down B. Yeah, the 1 frame of finishing touch did add that combo Yuki. You can jab lock finishing touch as a true punish now. Pretty hard to do, but doable. Pretty sure the devs wanted Pichu to be a joke and didn't like seeing him do good. I also think he deserved a nerf. Call me crazy. If you like watch my set versus Spargo when he played Cloud, like, dude, I would try to do rising forward air baits, because what he was doing is he would run up to me, hypothetically, and do like a turnaround shield, so that if I forward aired through him, I would get up smashed and it would split spot and I would die really early. So I was like, okay, fine. I can react to the turnaround and I can just go backwards. And if I reacted too late, I would get hit by the sour spot of up smash, which still is pretty annoying. Or I wouldn't have time to punish after doing rising forward air. Like my forward air like already hit his shield and I fell down and I still didn't have enough time to punish. It's crazy. Min Min also got some pretty big nerfs. I mean, all I know that it's the Nair, but Min Min's complained about it and Pink Fresh just retired entirely, and I trust that guy's opinions. So, the Buzzbee dropped her. I'm surprised. I still think Min Min is good. The problem with Dabuz, or rather Dabuz's like group of characters, is that like there's Olimar, that'll just always be a Dabuz character, but then he also has like, I guess I could say this about all three of them actually. Rosa, Olimar, and Min Min, where their game plan's all kind of similar, where they're just like zoning you out, keeping distance while doing damage. Though it is nice to have multiple characters at your disposal, like having the same game plan with all of your characters, you kind of still fall into like losing to some of the same characters. Like all of those characters would like just lose to Joker. I feel like when devs were like patching this game, they were like, yo, Diddy Kong and Sheik and Bayonetta and Corrin, Ryu, they were all good in the last game. Where did we go wrong? Like, what happened? And then they just buffed them. They're like, these characters are supposed to be good. Bring them back. And then they just fucking kept buffing them. Oh, fuck. Cloud, same thing. A lot of buffs just like have the potential to make characters more annoying. You know they buffed Pikachu standing grab at some point? Pikachu never got nerfed. Pikachu got buffed. So did Fox. Fox got a forward air like landing attack buff. It wasn't like every single patch notes for Ice Climbers like, we fixed Nana's AI. Oh, the hell you didn't. And what do you guys in the comment section think? Go ahead and tell me. And while you're down there, like the video, comment. I already told you to subscribe. Thank you. All right, chat. Now we can continue talking about how Zero Suit sucks ass.